2008 called. They want their mortgage rates back. The Federal Reserve using an old playbook for a whole new game. The consumer not happy and pushing back. And to my real estate agent friends, I've received about 25 or 30 calls in the last couple days. Rates are not as high as advertised on TV or the internet, just like they were never as low as advertised on TV or the internet. Consider this simple clickbait. Welcome back to This Week in Mortgage, everybody. My name is Sam Battaglia, your mortgage broker here at Guaranteed Rate in Beverly Hills, right on Cannon. Hope you're having a great week. Well, 2008 called. They want their mortgage rates back. We haven't seen rates like this in a very long time. Since last Friday's show that I did, we jumped between Friday, Monday, and Tuesday about 75 basis points. I mentioned that if we ever got to a 350 yield on Friday, I didn't think we're going to get there in 3 days and then come back, but that's what happened between Friday and Tuesday. And if we got to a 350 yield, affordability would probably be way too tough right now, even for rich people. But luckily, things have come down since then, since the Fed raised rates yesterday, because the markets believe we're clearly heading into a recession and the Federal Reserve has to raise rates as fast as possible right now just to have the opportunity, as I mentioned before, to cut them as fast as possible when their data that they keep looking at tells them that they need to stop. Last time we had rates, the first time mortgage rates on a 30-year fixed went under 5% was Thanksgiving week of 2008. Long time ago. I mean, a very long time ago. And now's the first time, we've hopped back over 5 pretty solidly. In some cases, we're a little below, but just call a mortgage right there in the 5s. We will see. Yields are not as bad as rates right now. Rates are basically a lot of fear, fluff, and hedging. So all things being equal, if yields come down a little bit or stay the same over the next 2 months, you'll see mortgage rates come down because there's a lot of fear, fluff, and hedging built into them. So that should settle, as I believe the markets, for that matter, should start settling. And it feels like, knock wood, the worst is over for mortgages. Little thing back to 2008. So in 2008, in July of 2008, I'm going to call it, the average home price in the United States was $302,000. In April of 2022, the average home price was $570,000. Need I say more? When it comes to housing, the price of homes has been going up for a very long time because affordability has also been going up as interest rates have been coming down. So now is a really big important pivot point to see if the consumer can actually handle what they need to handle to buy a new house. But last time we had rates this high, the average price of a home was almost half of what it is today. But what is going to support housing values is the general lack of inventory, because as I've discussed before, there were less homes built in the 2010s than any other 10-year period since post-World War II needed to keep up with housing demand. So home prices should be safe for now. I think mortgage rates are going to settle and maybe come down a little bit. But it's all about affordability, and 2 days ago, that was really put into question. All right, the Federal Reserve. As I mentioned 2 months ago, if you go watch my show from April 6th of this year, I said the Federal Reserve should raise 200 basis points to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over, because the truth of the matter is if they know the inflation's that bad, why wait? Get it over with. Go watch the show from April 6th. I don't want to harp on it too much now. But what does actually scare me, the Federal Reserve did raise 75 basis points yesterday, but in my opinion, for all the wrong reasons. Number one, they admitted they cannot help food and energy inflation, so I'm just wondering what kind of inflation they're trying to help. And I'll get to the numbers that 1.5% that they've raised so far this year is not going to accomplish what they want. Tackling food and energy, which is something they don't have the ability to do, is what the problem is here. So they are using an old playbook for a new game. I don't think they've ever raised rates headed into a recession or being in a recession without the data to support it yet. And actually, the Federal Reserve should thank the food and energy prices, because those have actually done their job. The consumer's going to slow down. I don't know if you've gotten gas this week. There's a gas station down the street here, $8.24 a gallon. Not happening. That's not happening. The consumer's just going to say no. They're going to drive an extra mile or two to save a buck on gas. It's a little bit insane right now, but the Federal Reserve should thank food and energy prices for slowing the consumer down. It just might be some time until they realize that they can thank them. So, what scares me about the Federal Reserve right now, the fact that last Friday's inflation data scared them so bad, a couple things. They didn't see it coming. I'm not sure how, unless this was a planned move. They wanted those numbers to come out. Then they wanted to telegraph yesterday's 75 basis point hike. Not sure what they're doing, but if they didn't see it coming, I'm going to lose a lot of confidence in them, just like the stock market after that dead cat bounce yesterday. Lost all their confidence today in the Fed's ability to navigate and get us a soft landing. Who knows what they're going to do. But their other problem is they're data dependent. But it seems like the only data they're really concerned with is inflation. And just like a single issue voter, for example, they have the blinders on to reality. If the Federal Reserve is going to be a single issue rate raiser based on inflation, which they said they can't help food and gas inflation, and what they did yesterday was just make it more expensive for people to, this is what's tied to prime, what they raised yesterday. Car loans, credit cards, student loans, home equity lines of credit. If I had one question for the Federal Reserve yesterday, how does your 1.5% raise this year slow down car loans when a $40,000 car, a 1.5% on that's $600 a year? That's about $50 a month. Meanwhile, you want to slow that down, but the price of gas to put in that car has doubled, or more so in some areas. The job is being done by the gas companies. You don't need to raise rates on car loans and credit cards. People are going to start spending less because they have less money to spend because they're putting all their money in their gas tank. So I don't know what the Federal Reserve's doing, but they admitted they're not fighting the right inflation. I'm not sure what they're doing. They should actually just leave things alone, let food and energy take care of inflation like it's doing too good of a job right now, and they should move on. But they want to hike, and they're going to hike, and they're just going to hike some more, I think, because they know their first tool in their box is to cut rates, so they're going to hike just to be able to cut. Moving on to the consumer, poor consumer, being squeezed every step of the way. And it seems like not only the gouging that's going on is people are squeezing on top of the squeezing on the retail side, whether it be getting something fixed, buying something new, whatever. Everyone seems like they're trying to rip everybody off these days. Not cool. So the consumer's about to say no to a lot more things. This week, the president, I think he went on TV and asked, not told, the gas companies to stop gouging us. Oil refining companies' profits have tripled since the beginning of the year. So we've seen oil barrels this high and higher before, but we've never seen gas this high. So when the president asks, doesn't tell energy companies to stop gouging, and then the next day you see prices continue to go up, what good is it? I think they have to have a meeting, to say the least. The Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P are now, I think, all officially in bear territory. I think the Dow touched it or right slightly underneath it today. This is going to hurt consumer confidence and sentiment. So I think the solution to this energy problem, which is the inflation that the Fed admitted they can't fight, is similar to eminent domain. The government should nationalize energy. Now, you think I sound like a socialist. I'm just an American. When we need socialism, Social Security, bailouts, too big to fail, TARP, HARP, all these different socialistic programs we have, it's okay then. Well, I say we just, use socialism when we need it, and I think we need it now. We need to nationalize energy as a matter of national security. So, do something about it, or the consumer will stop, and the economy will falter, and so will the world economy. The consumer is slowing. That is going to help the supply chain, unfortunately, outside of some specialty goods that people are looking for. All right, real estate. My realtor friends, don't freak out. Rates are not as high as they say on TV, just like they were not as low as they said on TV at the lows. That's just clickbait. Don't worry about interest rates. They've settled down. In my humble opinion, again, the worst is over, and we might start seeing some affordability as things come off on the treasury markets. And if we actually see a half-point drop in rates or something along those lines, we will have a actually very healthy real estate market, because this new consumer, this modern age May, June consumer on houses understands what they're going to pay and seemingly can still afford it right now. The general lack of homes that I discussed, mortgage love, people don't want to get rid of their mortgage, and just traditionally low inventory is going to be a great supportive feature for housing values. And if your house goes down 10%, don't get your feelings hurt. That's probably fluff of 10 or 20% in your home value. But if you're going to live there and you have the right mortgage, the value of your home literally doesn't matter. And all of this, as I said, right now, mortgage rates, fear, fluff, and hedging. When markets settle, so will mortgage rates, and we should continue on to a decently healthy second half of the real estate market. Okay, everybody, that is my show for this week. If you have any questions about your mortgage or anything real estate related, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you as always for watching. Have a great rest of the week into the weekend.